My name is Debbie. Welcome to Roll and Release at Yoga Lab Mammoth. Today we are going to roll out mostly the upper part of our body. We are going to try to release the stress and open up areas through our thoracic spine around the rib cage, neck, shoulders, chest, and see if that doesn't leave us feeling more free and more open. We're spending more time than ever on electronics right now. We're slouched and watching Netflix and binge watching. Maybe that's not so different from what we do on a regular basis, driving a lot, spending a lot of time behind the wheel of a car, spending a lot of time in a computer, on our electronics. Our whole posture tends to go like this. So what we're going to try to accomplish today is an opening. So foam rolling, if you've taken my class before, you've heard this before. Foam rolling is not designed to mash on your tissues. There's no way we can generate enough power to break up what people call trigger points. What we want to accomplish today is a state of relaxation, a state of mindfulness, tuning into our bodies so that we can prepare our body to accept a stimulus, respond to it appropriately, and relax. So when we can tune into our breath, slow our systems down, our muscles and our nervous system are better prepared to serve us in a healthy way rather than a stressed, tense, anxious, painful way. A lot of people think that foam rolling needs to hurt like hell, and sometimes it does. I will be honest. We have a rule in my class that whatever comes out of your mouth in this class stays in the class. Nothing leaves because sometimes things come popping out of people's mouths. Obviously, I can't hear what you're saying, so say whatever you want. The goal, though, is to stimulate the nervous system into a state of relaxation, not to hyperstimulate it into a state of pain, because that becomes a learned response that your body then associates every time you pull your foam roller out. So we're going to start with some breath work, and then a body scan, and then we'll get into some rolling. And we'll see how far we can get in about a half hour. Like I said, it'll be mostly back, chest, and shoulders. So you need, if you don't have it already, a foam roller. Doesn't matter what size it is. I like to lay along the length of it, and you'll see that later on. And so it might be helpful to have a cushion or a block to put at one end of it. We may also, if we have time and the wherewithal and things flow, because these classes need to flow, see if we're going to use a ball. It could be a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. We actually, to be honest, might not get to it. So let's start with some breathing. We're going to start in the fetal position, sitting on your heels. You want your elbows down in front of your knees, hands palm down. Let your head, neck, and shoulders relax. And as you take a big, deep breath in for the count of 3 or 4, let your ribcage expand to all the corners of the room, and then exhale. When your exhales are longer than your inhales, you trigger the body's relaxation response. And I can tell you, if you go into rolling in a relaxed state, it feels a whole lot better. So let's inhale again, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Now you might have noticed some tightness in the rib cage. You might have noticed a little bit of tightness in your lumbar area. That's okay, just notice it. The goal for this class is by the time we're done, you're going to feel so much better. Okay, so lying down flat on the mat, make yourself comfortable. We're going to do a body scan. By all means, wiggle and see what things feel like. And notice it, because we'll come back to this at the end of the class. So close your eyes and notice if you have tension around your temple and your eyes scrunching. You might want to turn off the light that's above you. Take a breath in, long, slow exhale. Notice if you've been clenching your teeth or grinding your teeth, clenching your jaw. See if you can't consciously try to relax that. Clench your teeth really hard and let it release. Checking in with your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders aren't up here and they're not rolled up like this. You want to wiggle them. See if you can relax them down onto the mat. See if they feel even from side to side. Right side, left side. Sometimes they're a little asymmetrical, and that's to be expected. But just notice. Right now we're just noticing everything. So for example, rib cage, working down the body. Is the back of your rib cage off the mat like mine is? Or can you inhale, breathe down into it, and then relax. Reconnect your ribs, the front of your ribs with the front of your hips, and get the back of your hips to relax, the back of your ribs to relax down. Take some breaths here. See if you can get it to feel natural. See if you relax one area of your body and another area of your body wants to pop up or tense up. And then notice if your shoulders are even right and left. Also check in with your hips. Are your hips even right and left? Is one side popped up or the other side popped up? Just wiggle around, notice what it feels like. And then see if you can feel the backs of your legs. How much of the back of your leg can you feel on the mat? And now that you've noticed everything, see if you can let everything release. Relax, let your neck relax on the mat. Don't worry about what position it's in. Don't worry about your ribs right now. Take a big breath in. Count for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause. Inhale again for 4. And exhale for 6. Notice your heart rate slowing as we do this. So we are going to take a ball and we're going to put it right on the back of the skull, right at that bony point, the occipital point. And we're going to make slow circles with your nose 5 times in each direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And carefully look right and look left, depending on the size of the ball. You might find yourself slipping, especially with hair. And then we're going to bring the ball to the back of your neck and let it rest right there below the bony points at the back of your skull. And turn your head gently right and left. All these points that feel tender are also points that help trigger relaxation. And I'll hang out there. And then take the ball away, and we will get on the roller. So we're going to start with the roller at the bottom of the rib cage. And to roll, you take your hands behind your head, lift your hips up, and walk your feet forward so you get to the top of your shoulders with the roller. And then we're going to roll all the way back down to the bottom of your rib cage. It's a nice smooth rolling. And one more time. And rest. So we're going to start going a little bit deeper. We're going to angle about 45 degrees. You can rest on your elbow so you can leverage your body weight. When you lift up your hips, we're going to roll out where your lats are. Come back to center. And then we're going to roll out the other side. If you're really brave, you can come all the way up onto the side of your rib cage. Again, you're going to want to leverage yourself with your hands for this. And roll. See if you can go all the way up to your armpit. There's actually a trigger point there. This probably feels a little bit tender. When you hit those points, you want to come back to your breath and breathe and try to relax. So my general rule of thumb is if you hit one of those trigger point areas, breathe into it. If you can get it to start relaxing, wonderful. If it doesn't relax after about 20-30 seconds, move on. Don't stay there. We really don't want to hyperstimulate the nervous system. We don't want your brain associating rolling with pain. We don't want your body associating touch with pain. And so the goal is to stimulate the nervous system to relaxation. Relaxed nervous system, you get relaxed muscles, you get less tension in your body, right? When you start adding pain to the equation, you don't relax those muscles. So we'll do the other side now. Okay. So now we've rolled out the back in a very general way. We're going to check in with how the rotation is in your back. So rotation should be coming from your thoracic spine. You should be able to twist through the upper back without it going into your lower back. So I do a check where, again, we're sitting on our heels. This locks in your low back. One arm is in between your knees, palm down, and we're going to rotate down and up to the ceiling. Down and up. And we'll go to the other side. Down and up. Down and up. And notice if you feel a little tighter on one side than the other, sometimes your dominant side might be a little tighter. Sometimes your non-dominant side might be holding more tension. It's a chance to notice it. If you're feeling tight there, we're going to start loosening it up. So this is a nifty variation on traditional back rolling. So we're going to lift up and roll out one or two vertebrae. We're just going to hang out here. You might feel some pops and some crackles, and that's okay. And then we're going to plant our hips and extend our spine over the roller. Go for a nice big arch, but keep your hips on the floor. Lifting up, back to a neutral spine. We're going to tip side to side like you're a little teapot. Then we're going to lift up our hips again and roll out the next vertebra pair. And you might notice every vertebra pair feels a little different because they hold tension a little differently. So plant your hips, and we're going to arch over the roller. Come back up to neutral, and go side to side. If it feels good, you can go side to side more than once. But the key is, unless you're up and rolling, your hips have to be on the floor. So I might go a little faster than you. You might want to spend a little bit more time doing this. You can pause the video at any time and just do it at your own pace, and I'll meet you when you're ready. So we'll keep working our way up, or I'll keep working my way up my spine. Rolling while it feels good. Putting my hips down, arching, coming back to neutral, and going side to side. This is a great way to unlock upper backs that are a little bit tight. Plant your hips, extend, and flex. We're moving the spine in all the directions it's meant to. We're not flexing forward, but you know you can do that because our bodies are kind of in that position most of the time anyway. So we're going in the other directions. So we're planting and extending and flexing laterally. And going up a little bit more. You're going to go all the way up as high as you can. Extend over the roller, come back, side side. And then we'll come up a little more. Extend over the roller, come to neutral, side to side. And this is probably my last one. Plant your hips, extend, and go side to side. So we're going to roll right back to where your shoulder blades are, and we're going to hang out there for a little bit. So hips are up, we're going to roll. This is usually a pretty tender spot. You take your arms up to the ceiling. So you're protracting your shoulder blades around your rib cage. And then you take your arms out to the side, putting your shoulder blades in a completely different position. Then we're going to elevate those shoulder blades by reaching overhead. And then you're going to give yourself a great big hug. Keep rolling the shoulder blades in the rib cage. And then come up to sitting. So hopefully your back feels a little bit better. I think what we'll do is turn our roller around lengthwise. So depending on the size of your roller, you may or may not need a block as support for your head. But this is how I set it up. If you have a really short one, you might need 2 blocks. You might not be able to do this move comfortably. So what we're going to do is sit on the very edge of the roller and lower yourself down carefully. So the block is a pillow for your head. And from here, you can take your arms out to the side and go from side to side, working that area between the shoulder blades, the area that every massage therapist likes to dig into, that chiropractors call the gristle in our body. We're just trying to relax, loosen, release the tension that's there. So coming back to center, notice where your ribs are. Do you have the bottom of your ribs on the roller? If you bring your knees in and up, you can reset and bring your feet down. We're going to take our arms out, palm up, and we're going to make snow angel arms. So we're going to sweep our arms, palm up, overhead, trying to keep as much of our hands and arms down on the floor as we possibly can. Let the chest open, let the shoulders open. Let's do one more. That feels good. And we'll take our arms up overhead. You can keep your arms together or you can make a fist, your choice. And we're going to reach overhead towards the floor behind you. You want to make sure as you're doing this that your ribs stay down, connected to your hips. So we're going to reach over, stretching out the shoulders and the chest and the back muscles, and coming back up. 2. We'll do 3 more. 3. 4. 5. And bring your arms out. And we'll go one more time side to side. Keeping your rib cage down. Enjoying the feel of the roll across your back, not up and down your back. You can make this movement as big as you want or as small as you want. Remember, if you fall off, it's only a couple inches. You're not going to get hurt. Okay. So let's come off the roller. And let's talk shoulders, opening up the shoulders. So just a check-in. Shoulders should be nice and relaxed. Back is nice and relaxed. Lift up your arm. You want to keep your shoulder down. So I want you to notice if your shoulder needs to lift up to try to come back to your ears, or if you can keep it down and have your arm come back to your ears. Notice if your arm needs to bend to do this movement. A lot of people can't do it in any other position than this. Maybe that's you. Maybe this is you. We're just finding that out. Right side, left side. Are you the same? Or is one side a little different than the other? So that's our test for that. And what we're going to do is roll out across the pecs. There's no graceful way of doing this. You can do this against the wall, but on the floor, you're going to roll right below the collarbone, all the way out to the shoulder. So on the floor, it looks like this. You get to control, like you're doing a push-up, how much pressure you're putting down on the ball. And if you're going to do it on the wall, there's no good way to show it to you here. So we'll do the other side, and I'm going to let you figure that one out. Oof. And then we're going to take the ball and put it at that trigger point right below your armpit, and rest your head on your hands. Legs are relaxed. And we're going to rock forward and back. Or maybe make little circles. And when you found a spot that is, you can hang out there for just a little bit, we're going to try rotating your arm down and back up. Arm goes down and back up. 3, 4. Excellent. And we're going to go to the other side. So finding that spot, finding the trigger point that you want to explore. It's an exploration, it's not a torture. If you really can't tolerate this, move on. This is your rolling session, not mine. Well, actually, this is mine, but I can't see what you're doing, so you get to do what you want. Here we go. So finding a spot where you can tolerate some of the tension. We're going to rotate down and rotate up. It's actually a trigger point for one of the rotator cuff muscles, which is why rotating your shoulder like this digs into it a little bit more. Okay, so let's check in with where we are with our shoulders and our back and our rotation. So we did our original check. Notice if your shoulders feel looser after working through the chest and working out that trigger point. I know my arms are going back farther than they were. Maybe your arms are going farther back, or maybe they're a little bit straighter than they were before. And then checking in with how it feels to rotate. Keeping your hips on your heels. Rotate down and up. And I'm rotating a little bit farther than I was too. Down and up. Down and up. So at this point, let's do a little bit on the lower back, and then we'll check in with how your body feels on the mat again. So we're going to sit on top of the roller and just roll. Back and forth. Easy rolling. You can shift to one side to get one cheek, one glute. And then rock a little bit over to the other side. And explore that area around the tailbone, muscles between the tailbone and the hip. And then we're going to go a little bit more forward on the roller, so it's up a little bit higher on your back. And we're going to shift to one side, working up high on the sacrum, getting close to the SI joint. If you're not on the SI joint, coming back to center and rolling out the other side. Just noticing what it feels like. Take your time. If it feels good here, hang out here. If it doesn't feel so good, don't hang out here too long. And then we're going to roll all the way down. So the roller is going to be right above your tailbone. And what we're going to do is bring your legs up to tabletop and roll a little bit. Oops. You want to be above your tailbone. And go side to side. Like a little bit like a cross-friction massage. And then we're going to stretch one leg out.
Your leg may or may not hit the floor. Your other leg may or may not want to tuck in. But we're going to get a nice big stretch on the front of your hip. And hang out here. And then we're going to switch sides. And notice again, one side feels different than the other. Breathe into that hip. Let it relax. See if it opens up. You could take up to 10 breaths here in this position. Relax your shoulders. Relax your mind. Relax your muscles. We'll switch one more time. See if you can stretch all the way through. And then stretch both legs long. Take your arms overhead. Then bring your knees up. Tuck in. Let's move the roller away. Up to the side. And stretch out flat. And let's do that check-in again like we did at the very beginning of the session. So close your eyes. Notice if you're squinting. Notice if your jaw feels a little bit more relaxed. Check in with your shoulders. Mine are sitting definitely much flatter on the mat. My rib cage is down on the mat now. It's not popped up anymore. And my hips are feeling pretty even side to side. So take a moment just to check in with your body. Take some deep breaths. Continue to relax. Appreciate all your body does for you. Celebrate your health. Celebrate a body that you can work, that you can relax, that takes care of you as you take care of it. Think of something that you're grateful for. Bring that into your heart. Take a few more deep breaths here. And then we'll roll over onto one side. Gently come up to sitting. And there, you've been rolled. Hopefully that wasn't as painful as you were experiencing. Looking forward to seeing you back here in Yoga Lab sometime soon, hopefully sooner rather than later. And if you have any questions, you can send them to the studio, and I will do my best to answer them. Good job, everyone. See you